Good evening, fellas. Casper here. Tuesday evening, and yeah, uranium miners in the USA. Let's have a look on how they do. They haven't done great for the past, I will say, 2 months or so. It's been, just down, basically. So let's see where we are. We will be using the weekly. I can actually, so a bit of a longer term view. I just skimmed through the charts very quickly, and I think most of them are actually at a pretty pivotal moment where it needs to either perform or take a lot of damage to the chart. So I think it's a pretty important view that we take here today. As always, guys, follow me here on YouTube. Highly appreciate it. Also on Twitter, both YouTube and Twitter, but also the Substack. I just, got up and running 2 days ago, I think 1 to 2 days ago with regarding to Substack, getting to learn it a bit. And I think it's actually a quite neat tool to post both the free content but also the paid version of the paid content. So check it out if you want to be a part of the members, where we focus mostly on single individual stocks with the setups that we follow, and we will buy whenever we have a trigger to buy, and obviously we will place stop losses and targets along the way. So if that's something for you, check it out here at Substack. Again, I am brand new at this also, so bear with me on this one. But we need to dive into the charts here for uranium miners. This is the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust with a healthy pullback here. We came to roughly 34, all the way down to 25. So a massive is a big word, but yeah, it is a big drop, obviously. Where is my measuring tool? So you can see we're down 25%. Again, looking back, these 25% drops here, what we have here, 30. Here we had 40. So again, these drops are very common. We did come a long way, from summer 2023 into, the peak there at roughly 110%. For now, we're still within this well-defined yellow uptrend here, sitting at the middle, roughly, where we did find some support here. You can see the middle here is also acting, a lot of interactions going on, and we did bounce there a bit above the 30. Ideally, we want to break like that right now as we speak. Also, I want to show you, I don't have my exact lines on here, but again, I want to draw it here. We had this double top here, the measured move. We can add down to here, roughly there. You can see this was the measured move target, roughly. It's a quick sketch. And this, in my view, is also a Vikov, accumulation setup here. Again, we have the final spring down, up, and then you spring here, and then you go higher. I also posted this quite some time, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, that I'm pretty sure that this is the case. And the final, nail in the coffin will be this coiling here, blasting to the upside. You can check out Vikov accumulation. I think this is pretty dead on. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think we have decent amount of hope here that actually we are going to fly up there, and we have the 30 weekly moving average roughly down here. So that is hopefully what we are going to see. I just need to quickly change this one here, excuse me, because I could see it was wrong. There it is. Good. ASPI. Again, these are Heikin-Ashi candles, so they're pretty different, compared to the regular candles. But again, we have a massive green uptrend here on the Heikin-Ashis, and yeah, we bought in here at roughly 1.8, and we're still heavily in the green, and we're holding on to the target, which is 12. We did, on the surface, we did find that entry here, where we broke above there, not on Heikin-Ashi candles, obviously, but you can see we broke above here. We had the stop loss is down here, and now we're well in the green. And also for that, smaller time frame setup for ASPI. AEC is a smaller company, 100 million, so yeah, kind of small. Again, the downtrend there is broken. What is happening now is just, trying to undo all the downward momentum that we have currently. And you can see here, we kind of broke it, and then we started to wedge, right on top of the golden channel. You have the wedge right here. want to zoom in for you guys. So we did break, whoops, we did break up from the wedge, retest, tested that blue, which is now the most important on this chart here. I want to show you if I can remove all that. So I want to show you the entry level, or the entry for this stock is when we break this blue right there. When and if we break the blue, you buy into AEC. That's a, you know, fourth touch after we have broken some downtrends, and we also, you know, resolve to the upside here. Great entry into AEC. BSK still doing absolutely nothing for the past 9 months, basically. This is the past 9 months, and you can see we're basically, you know, pounding on that lower trend line coming here. When and if we take out this high here, that's a buy. That is a clear buy. Again, this is a very small stock here, only 15 million. But when we get above there, we should be in a stage 2 uptrend, and still have this very well-defined, you know, formation here coming in. And again, this could be that we actually is going to break there upon that break. CCJ, I will only show you this green uptrend here. This is where we are. Do you think that looks like an important moment in time? I certainly do. The green uptrend, there it is, touching over here and over there. And right now I want to zoom in. Boop, boop. There we are. We need to do this very quickly, very soon. Otherwise, we are definitely in for a detour where I think, you know, Cameco could actually go down to these highs down here. So the lowest roughly 30, and we are at 40. So that's a 25% drop here if we don't start to do something. I want to show you also the leading up to it. The 1 to 5 Elliott wave breakdown, you know, retesting of the previous highs. So again, this is very important, very, very important. Denison Mines, I want to go back to the Heikin-Ashi, the Japanese candlestick. You can see here on the weekly, this is a long-term chart again, 15 years. So we're not looking at the hourly or the daily. We're looking, you know, a decade plus here. Oops, go away. What's going on there? You can still see here, we are still sitting on top of this trend line here. One connection, 2021 high, tag, breakout, retesting, and now we're basically just sitting here. So for now, long term, it's really, really good still. We don't want to get back below there. Taking, you know, getting below the golden trend line here, and obviously also below the 30 weekly. That would be devastating to the chart in my view. And from that point on, the bears is in full control. But for now, the bulls are definitely, you know, in better shape. I think if we zoom in, we might have, yep, there it is. I think that is the triangle to look for. So if we can break up here, that would be a huge win here short term. Again, you can see here we are on, this is only 4% or so. Very bullish, very bearish. Again, we are into a big moment in time for Denison Mines as well. And some people is calling this the, you know, a shorter term, you know, what's it called, Livermore accumulation cylinder, where this just goes. Hopefully we do. But again, first off, we need to take out that trend line, then we can talk. Getting below there would stink big time. Stinky. Lamb here, Larid. Also, in my view, a very, very strong chart. Massive golden broken trend line here, goes back again 10 years. March 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, retest 5. And then we had that huge, you know, downward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. The Elliott wave count once again holds true. And then we broke here in summer 2023, and we are on the way, in my view, to this high there. You can also see that we are basically standing on top of, or we bounced here at the 30 weekly. So again, this one needs to hold also, and then we need to grind it higher into that high over there. As you know, for these triangles or bull flags, usually the first big target is that high there at roughly 1.1. So, and we haven't touched it yet, and I still firmly believe that we're going there. UUUU is, it is still one of my favorites. However, it's still, right now it is underperforming, which is kind of annoying, obviously. But again, when a stock is underperforming, I'm also, why is the reason for that? Zooming in, we did look at this formation here. this is also like a 3-year long, excuse me, a 3-year long formation here. We did tag it there, and then we started to consolidate. I was really bullish here, and then we went below the bull flag. Not ideal. I think we're going down to this one here, but this will be the 4th touch. So we shall see. But again, we have the move up, and we have a long sideways consolidation. That's more bullish than bearish, that this triangle or this flag here will and should resolve to the upside. If you were to give, a favorite, the upside is definitely, with the tailwind there, we go sideways and we go up. That is still my case for UUU. Canada Alaska is actually doing quite all right. Again, you can see here, if we add a horizontal line, we have almost tagged, again, the triangle high here at roughly 0.85. But again, we have just broken out here, and now we're basically, in a full stage 2 incline here, 30 weekly coming up nicely, higher highs and higher lows. For now, what's not to like for Canada Alaska? EU, I want to basically show you this. Again, here we broke out, summer 2023, excuse me, and then we tagged the triangle high up here. And now we're getting rejected, almost tagged it, but again, almost tagged it. So again, the 30 weekly is below us here, and you can see again here that we basically tagged the 30 weekly, and ideally we really want to go here. We don't want to get below the 30 weekly. You can also note that actually potentially we have a smaller inverted head and shoulders, which if it breaks, again, these are just drawn very quickly, so no 100%, we could actually see a drop into below 4 and potentially a full retest of this line here at roughly 3.5, 3.6. So same thing again here. We are standing, at a very important short-term moment here where we either break that high over there or we start to correct even further. So very important there for EU as well. And I hold a decent position in EU, so disclaimer there. FCU, Fission Uranium. There's a lot of things going on here. Maybe I'm just going to make it a bit smaller so we can zoom in like that. Good. As you can see, we have this yellow uptrend here, which is still fully intact. We had that major, squeeze here. We tagged the yellow, and then we have a huge ramp up again, as you know, into this triangle high here is always, well, not always, but very, very often it is big resistance. But these moves here with a huge move up and then a flag, usually they don't stop here. This is just a big pit stop, a pause before we go higher. Because this is a major bull flag, right? So we should again resolve even further up there for FCU. But again, as we often see, we're getting to the triangles, the high of the triangle there, that is often resistance. We have seen that on many charts before, and we will see it again. And I keep pointing that out, when you have these formations, a lot of the people who play the momentum and buy this breakout here, maybe with a tight stop below here, they have an entry over there. Their target is up here, so they're taking this, 4-to-1, 3 to 4-to-1 risk reward ratio, and then they are out. So again, this is a typical place to have your, you take your gains from a shorter perspective. Right now, we are basically at big support. We are below the 30 weekly. That is not, a good thing to be, but we are still holding this high here, which is very, very important to hold. We want to have this bounce here very, very soon to the upside. Do we have a daily here? And this is the angle is maybe a bit too steep, but again, here we want to break, this week we want to break up there, getting above the 30 weekly also, very important also for FCU. Find was I think was probably one of the best looking stocks here in January 2024. I was so bullish on this stock here, breaking out, the retesting, the stage 2 attempt breakout, the retest, and then usually we see that, stage 2 continuation, but we just sliced right through. This is a very grim stock right now, and I could potentially see, because from false moves here comes huge moves in the other direction, and we could easily see this one go to 0.2, basically tagging roughly that trend line there before we do anything. So very, very very nasty view right now here for fine baseload. I don't know what caused this, if there were any news or whatever that came out here, but basically this setup was, this in my view is a setup that I will take any day of the week without hesitation. And to see this kind of, complete, dump after that move out, and then I didn't expect that. I don't see that very, very often, that's for sure. Okay, here we have Forces Metals. Long-term golden trend line. As you can see, the importance of it, 1, 2, 3, the breakout there, test again. So you can see how important it is. Basically that here was the test of the golden, but also the horizontal here. So a very big, buy entry there at 0.32. But also we have this move down here, 1, 2, and then the last spike low, and then we bounced up. And again, I want to show you, where did we pause, or where did we, find some resistance, at the triangle high here. Basically it is up here, but we have a lot of things going on there. So, but actually Forces Metals is one of the, if we go to the daily here, Forces Metals, as you can see with my beautiful precise ball flags here drawn, it is actually it looks pretty good compared to the others. Move up, sideways action, move up, sideways, move up, sideways. This is a very strong chart still. And overall, I think, when and if we break here, we are easily going to $2, which is the floor there, in the, after the peak, we had the floor at roughly 2, and then we broke down, then it was basically game over. FUU, still, I want to show you, the history. Again, this was the triangle here. Bit of a false breakout there. Maybe we should actually, well, what is going on there? Don't do that. Maybe we should actually scoot down to here so you can see this false breakout of that triangle. Basically, we are below. And also here, if we start to go sideways here and down, we're getting below the 30 weekly. And then we, there are more bears that they're not more in control, but again, all of a sudden it's more equal. So we need to get back above there at roughly 0.45 very quickly in order to have more bulls in control than the bears. Did we make a, no, it's still, I don't know. Okay, fair enough. But again here, false breakout, usually they lead to a move, to the other direction of whatever pattern you were in. So hopefully that will not be the case. Long term, I'm still very bullish. That massive inverted head and shoulders, you have seen it tons of times, breakout, retesting, and the target is roughly a 3.3. But maybe it drags out a bit here before we eventually go higher into the summer. If we don't start to move, within a week or two, then we could potentially see it drawn out, a delayed move further higher, in my view. Global Atomic, oh my goodness. I want to show the daily stuff here. The Niger thing started there, massive move down, and then basically we have this topping pattern over here. Inverted head and shoulders, grinding it, and then flush. And we did look at this stuff that was going on over here, because we were above the neckline and above the golden trend line here. So we were waiting for that move there to confirm, with a daily breakout, and we didn't get it. And then obviously we had that mega dump in the Global Atomic and GoVX due to, I haven't read it, but I could see it was something again with Niger and this whole situation going on down there. The details, you have to look for Twitter at John Quakes or some of the other guys who are more into these stories. But again, this is grim. No, I cannot describe it more than this. Is a very, very grim drop there below the 2 big supports and the 30 weekly. Very bad right now for Global Atomic. Very, very bad. GoVX did have this sideways here bear flag, and we actually, also had a grim day, broken down, and we are basically, finding a bit of support here at this long-term parallel channel here. You can see it there going down, But again, now if we don't start to recover quickly, you have the third weekly, and soon it will start to push down. So again, Global Atomics and GXU, GoviX, getting spanked right there. ISO, bit of a, I want to show you, this was a textbook breakout here, the 2021 peak. And then we had that, beautiful downwards, bullish consolidation, massive breakout, fine. Almost retest, and then we had a fake out, and now we're down here again. So this is a lot of noise here. And you can see that we're actually below the 30 weekly, which is never a good place to be. You can see here it was support. So over here now, it is resistance until proven otherwise. Maybe if I align it better, we can maybe almost retest there. So again here, ISO is in a bit of, it has come down quite far. You can see it's down 33%. So this move here, in my view, seems a bit overdone. I do expect a bounce. The only question in my view is how high will it be, and will it be a bounce that can take us even higher? So yeah, ISO also in a very different place here. If we come all the way down here, I think that is a buying opportunity if we get to there. But then that's a 50% drop. I think that it needs a lot of other factors to make it go down that far. But anything is definitely possible. CAP, good old Kazatomprom. 2021 high still, and then this was the fractal that we were looking at again late or in summer 2023. We broke out, retested it, and then we tried to go higher, almost reached the triangle high over here, or this all-time high here, and basically testing it again. So what needs to be happening now? We don't want to get below that triangle over there. That would be insanely bearish for CAP. Right now it is fighting. It is above the third weekly, and if we go to the daily, you can see here again the two scenarios. We want to break this yellow trend line here very, very in a hurry. Otherwise, we could risk losing that $37 level for CAP. That is just detrimental to the chart here. So again, big moment in time for the good old Kazatomprom also. LEU looked incredibly nice here. I really, really like this sideways action here. And just like the energy fuels, it just started to collapse. So now in my view, we're going down to here, this blue triangle here, which then resolved, and then it was a false breakout, and now we're back in. And false breakouts usually leads to a move down to here. So I think it will touch, roughly 33 before finding bigger support. Is it big enough to hold this trend line? You will definitely have to wait and see, because the third weekly is now, coming down, and that's putting pressure on. So what we want to see is a tag there, and then we can hopefully grind it higher if you're a bull. But definitely again here, we now have a triangle here that is where the fight between the bullish scenario or the bearish one here for LEU. Lightbridge, a stock that we haven't been following a lot, but again, it is finding some short-term momentum. This is a chart that goes back roughly 9 months or so, and we are basically breaking out here on volume. Overall, the stock, as you can see, hasn't participated in the move that for the past, the move that started in summer 2023. It basically just went down. So it is still a bit iffy here, but definitely short term there is, I guess, some money to be made here for a short-term trade. Overall, I'm still waiting for this trend line to break before I'm even considering looking into Lightbridge again. Mega uranium. Long term, we have this level here at 0.41. This is a big, triple bottom, you can say. Massive move up there. Again, rejected. And what's happening now is actually, again, summer 2023, massive move up. We actually went from 0.16 to 0.54. That is roughly almost 4x within basically no time. So we have this yellow uptrend here, which needs to hold. It is basically as simple as that. We need to bounce here very, very quickly. We need to get back about there. Otherwise, we'll start to break down. 30 weekly will come, and then we are definitely in for some bigger movement down here. So I wouldn't say pray. And then again, we need to see, you know, this one start to move up here very, very quickly. We need to undo this whole short-term downward momentum very quickly. Maybe we can take the top here and then the bear flag there. This is basically, yeah, this is basically what we need to do. So we have at maximum next week, so 5 trading days to find out if we want to have a, you know, a more bullish short-term scenario or a bearish short-term scenario. It's going to be fun to see what is who wins. NXE, we're still, you know, above this major long-term bull flag here, just sitting here doing absolutely nothing. Beautiful. That's totally needed sometimes. So we're basically just sitting here doing nothing. NXE looks really strong still. And if it can just grind sideways, the 30 weekly will come, push it up, and we will probably meet the target up here. Very, very strong. Still holding that bull flag top. Beautiful. SMR has had a major run from, let's call it roughly 2 to 12. That's insane. We did have one video again where we talked about if you want to buy, and you can actually go back and find it. If you want to buy SMR here, it was really, really hated due to the last day contract, I think. If you want to buy here, you want to actually buy right here, this potential double bottom. And ever since it came, you know, straight up. I didn't buy it, but again, what a run here. And now you need to let it breathe. There's a lot of volatility. Maybe it goes higher, but again, wait for something to confirm it before you do anything. Let the volatility, you know, come out of the system and have, you know, some consolidation that will either decide which way we go. But for some reason, SMR is just loved again. Not today, obviously, down 34%, but hey. Sky Harbor here, also a lovely, you know, double-headed inverted head and shoulders going back 15 years. And there's a lot of noise in the chart here, but basically we have this internal support here that needs to hold, in my view. Otherwise, we are coming in for a move down where we tag it here and then potentially lower. 30 weekly is pushing it down, so this is also under pressure from the 30 weekly. And yeah, we need to start to move here very, very soon. Then obviously we have a big red support, a resistance here. And if that gives in my view, this zone here, whatever you want to call it, will not hold this time and we will go higher. The reasoning being we have this long-term golden trend line here that is basically broken out, retested, and then we're doing sideways stuff here. So this looks, from a long-term perspective, incredibly good. Short-term here, we could potentially be in for some months with more downside if we don't start to move here very, very soon. UEC, still the green uptrend is our friend. It is our friend for now. And as you can see here, short-term, we have this March 2022 high here, and we're basically below now. We have this last kind of support here at the 30 weekly moving average sitting at around 6.2. Again, we need to see that bounce. I think if we go into the daily also, you could argue, again, it's not the most pretty, but you could argue for a topping pattern here. So we don't want to get below, because as long as we are below the neckline, the measured move is in play. What we can hope for, if it starts to break, that it is a false breakdown, and then we can move higher again. But again, you can see here how important today or the next few days is that we want to hold here. Otherwise, we potentially could go way lower. For UEC, URG, that is URNJ. Long term, I think this trend line will get broken. It looks really, really compelling, this chart here with this long-term macro. Again, the big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 last March 2020 dump. And then we broke out bull flag, tagged the golden trend line. I think actually this one will have a fourth go, and then it will break higher, and then we will at least go to that up there again, the triangle high at roughly 3.4. But again, this is a longer term. This will not happen tomorrow or within the next few weeks, depending on how we hold here with this green support. Potentially, we need to spend a lot of time here in 2024 before we can break out. UROI, weird chart. Well, it's not a weird chart. That's rubbish of me. Long-term golden trend line there break. Actually, it's only a 3-year long, but again, breakout, bullish consolidation. We actually broke here, and this looked incredibly bullish for multiple reasons. Breaking the bull flag right there, nice. Also, you broke this weird neckline here, and then we broke up. But a false breakout, and then we all be, as mentioned often, from false moves comes big counter trends or big moves in the other direction, and that's basically what you saw here. We tried to break out and do a lot of retesting, failed, boom. Now we're back at the low side of the bull flag again. So a bit more bearish here on UROI. Again, we need to see the price start to come up here because the 30 weekly is starting to push down. So yeah, definitely. This is never a good thing to have that false breakout, and then you get that snapback, slap in your face. YCA, yellow cake, nothing further to add. Still within the uptrend, the parallel here, beautiful. The only question is, in my view, how we get to the upper here. Do we have a detour where we actually need to go all the way down to the lower side and then higher? But I think at some point in time we will tag it. Right now here on the outgoes to the daily, it gives us a bit more view there. We're bouncing at the 30 weekly, and you could argue that we're having some sort of compression here. It's very steep. But again, step one should be to break out and then hopefully, do some sort of sideways action, and then we can actually go higher. So again, here also big moment in time. We need to hold this 30 weekly moving average for YCA. Yeah, nothing further to mention really. Again, the past 2 months, ever since late January, most of the uranium stocks exactly has done bad. There is a few that has gone sideways, slightly down, but overall, the past 2 months, everyone hates uranium now again, and people are not even considering uranium right now. So that is why and where we are is very important right now, that we hold these levels in like 50% of the stocks, and we actually break the trend line or the resistance that is right above. Otherwise, we could basically see a lot more down. A downward move here before we find that bottom in this leg up here. So yeah, it is what it is, guys. I'm just trying to tell you it how I see it. That was the uranium miners in the USA. I know last week we didn't do these uranium miners in the USA. We only did the Australian one. So maybe this week we will not do the Australian one. We shall see. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. But next week for sure we will do it. As a final note here, URNM down 1% today. Tomorrow, massive day, which is Fed Day or FOMC. That is going to move the market like you have never seen before, in my view. It's a very important meeting. Let's see what they have to say, the clever guys, in quotes, obviously. Guys, have a great day. Bye.